Welcome in, everybody. Happy Wednesday here on Morning Jocks. Another chilly one across the state of Alabama. But Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell will be here with you for the next hour, getting you up to date on everything going on in the world of college football, college basketball, the NFL, and much, much more. But it is another chilly day here. But I will say this, the difference in 27 degrees versus 14 degrees is quite noticeable. So that is appreciated. We are heading in the right direction, but it is another chilly one. So make sure you bundle up before you head off to work, school, whatever it is that you are on your way to do this morning. But we appreciate you tuning us in and making us a part of your morning each and every day right here on Jocks. So we've got a lot of options today. Like I said, we've got some variety. We kind of get to hit multiple different sports, multiple different areas here because there's a lot going on, even though it's late January and this is normally the time that we're kind of winding down, football season's in the rearview mirror, college football season's in the rearview mirror. We kind of just sit back and enjoy the rest of the NFL season. And then, you're kind of just biding time a lot. It feels like until March Madness. And that's kind of the next thing people get excited for. But we've got a lot going on.
Yeah, and I think in the college basketball world of things, you kind of, if you hadn't watched teams, a lot of people don't really watch in November, December, because if we bring it up in November or December, we usually get punished. But if you hadn't got a chance to watch some college basketball, you're getting the best because you're seeing nothing but conference play.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of got a feeling of how the rest of February could potentially be leading up to March. So you kind of not necessarily filling out your brackets already, but you got a little bit of a feel of where you think some teams could potentially be.
This is your homework, right?
Yeah, it's the eye test.
Yeah.
These are the eye tests that you're going to get. But, yeah, it's just that unique spot in the calendar where you realize quickly that college football, especially here in Alabama, it's pretty big. And when you don't have it, there's always just that empty feeling. But you can feel it by other things.
You certainly can, and having the transfer portal and things like that helps, right? Sprinkle it in kind of all throughout the year. But, it is certainly a little bit different. But thankfully, we've gotten to a point in this state, and it's been pretty cool because, in terms of the amount of time that we've been here, Damian, it kind of feels like we've gotten to watch, as we started here, at the very beginning of our careers, it just felt like that was when I guess the interest really started to peak because Auburn had been, with Bruce Pearl, they'd gone to a Final Four. You started to really get that buzz and that excitement around the program, and then obviously Alabama goes and gets Nate Oates and what they've been able to accomplish in that period of time as well. Like that's really when it felt like that was. We've come a long way, I guess, as SEC basketball fans, what I'm trying to say here in the state of Alabama. And it's very cool that we've seen how far it has grown. And now it's never going to be football, but it means a lot to a lot of people. And so last night you did have Alabama in action. Auburn's going to be underway today or later on tonight. But Alabama, they were back in Coleman Coliseum last night. They were hosting the Missouri Tigers. So Alabama coming off that loss to Tennessee over the weekend. Definitely stings a little bit because it was your fifth straight loss to Tennessee on top of, the whole Charles Bediako situation. And then it's, you went and brought that guy back and you still couldn't find a way to win. So that's, that's the narrative that they were dealing with, and understandably so. That was the way that people were going to look at it. So a nice bounce back opportunity for the Crimson Tide last night, and they certainly took advantage of it. So Missouri, for the first 10 minutes or so, did a good job of keeping pace and even, kind of being out in front there for a bit early on in this game. But once their shots started to fall consistently and they kind of put their foot on the gas a little bit, it was over. So it was 42-29 at halftime. Alabama comes out and outscores Missouri 48-35 in the second half. So they walk away with a 90-64 victory, a 26-point win there over a Missouri team that, as of last check, was in the last four teams out of the tournament. So right there on the bubble. So a very, a quality opponent, again, in the Missouri Tigers. But Alabama, really nice job last night, taking them down 90-64. Large part thanks to Latrell Wrightsell. He was an absolute madman last night for Alabama. So he goes 7 of 10 from three-point range. 7 of 10. It was absolutely remarkable, especially in the second half. Like that's really when he couldn't miss in the second half. So he was exceptional last night for Alabama. Aiden Holloway, he comes back from injury. Not a great night for him, only 5 points, but he did have 8 assists, so you'll certainly take that when the shots aren't falling for him. LeBaron Vylon has 18 for you. Charles Bediako has 14 to go along with 6 rebounds. And you actually got to see Bediako and Sherelle started out there. So they kind of went out there with the Twin Towers to get things going. And Sherelle, he had 16 to go along with it there. So a nice all-around effort from the Crimson Tide last night with the 26-point victory there. So Alabama now 14-6 on the season, 4-3 in SEC play. And if you had missed it earlier in the week, they are now ranked number 23 after that loss to Tennessee. They fell a couple spots. But they got a big one coming up this weekend because the next time you see them on the court, they will be taking on the Florida Gators in Gainesville. And we saw what Auburn was able to do last weekend, getting their first win there in 30 years. Definitely I would say the most impressive win of Stephen Pearl's early head coaching career. And that's not an easy thing to do. I was really, really impressed by Auburn doing that. And it is going to be really hard for Alabama to go and do that, on top of the fact that Florida's just kind of gotten the better end of that matchup in recent history. So going to be a really, really tough one. See if they can do what Auburn was able to do, but got to get healthy. And
yeah, and Todd Golden said some stuff about this.
He did.
About this squad. And they got to take them on Saturday. But I thought last night, Alabama, that's the kind of style you want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm not going to sit here and say I'm a basketball savant, but listening to what Richard Hendricks has said, and he's gotten the chance to, call Charles Bediako basically the first 2 games that he's been back. And he talks about just how he's fit in. And right now, I think that his presence is felt.
Mm-hmm.
It's 100% felt because he's able to rim protect. He's been able to alter some shots. And he's a big body. A lot of the screen and roll game that they've been able to do, most of Charles Bediako's points have come, basically off alley-oops or just being in that dunker spot, and all of a sudden he's, at the rim, and he had 14 points last night. But Missouri cannot hit a free throw. They came into the game the worst in the league, and they put that on full display last night as well. They couldn't buy a shot from the field.
Yeah.
And when you're at the charity stripe, I don't know how easier it could possibly be for you to get points, and they still couldn't find a way to do it.
Yeah, they went 8 of 23 from the free throw line.
Disgusting.
That's 35%. That's the worst I think I've ever seen a college or professional basketball team shoot from the free throw line. Yeah, that's
like I can go 8 for 23.
Well, yeah.
With my left hand.
Yeah, that's bad.
And they got scholarships and NIL.
That's one of those where people would start asking, like, all right, who took the money?